pace of growth isn't likely to abate. Yeah, Stephanie?
We do not anticipate it abating. You're right. You know, last year, 2020, the first year of the pandemic, we described the Southeast Asia digital economy as resilient. It was modest increase in growth 2019 to 2020. We held steadfast to our 2025 forecast, hence the resiliency. But this year, we're calling it a year of resurgence. And the reason for that is manyfold. The first is that we continue to see users come online at a blistering pace. 80 million have joined the internet in Southeast Asia since the beginning of the pandemic. Approximately 40 million in 2020 and another 40 this year. So that hasn't slowed down. But really importantly is the adoption of purchasing online. So digital consumerism that has really taken hold since the pandemic. Before the pandemic, we said less than half of the connected population was buying online. Today, that is 80% or 350 million people. And we see additional continue to come online. We've added a total of 60 million since the pandemic. 40 million last year, 20 million in just the first half of this year. But what's really important is they're telling us, consumers are, that the number of categories from which they're buying has increased by at least 4. So they started buying from 2 new digital categories in 2020 and almost another 2 in 2021. Right. And really important,
Stephanie, talk to us about the trends. It is not just about shopping online, it's also about digital payments.
Yes, absolutely. On both sides, consumers using digital payments, but also merchants telling us that they have adopted digital payments. We spoke to 3,000 digital merchants across Southeast Asia. Now they have a portion of their sales that have to be coming from online, but 95% of them tell us that they have adopted digital payments. And importantly, 92% said that they planned to increase their utilization of digital payments, if not maintain. So we see the adoption of e-wallets happening, account-to-account transfers, and merchants. It's come hand in hand with the growth in e-commerce.
Stephanie, give me a sense. There's no doubt that COVID has changed the whole landscape and made perhaps internet adoption go sky high. Do you have any numbers which would tell us how much you were looking at before the pandemic in terms of growth and what you're looking at now?
Yeah, so when we first started the report in 2016, we had estimated the 2025 digital economy had the opportunity to be 200 billion in size. We have now upped that to over 360 billion. So again, it's coming from those coming online and those who are purchasing online. And those who came on and purchased online for the first time in 2020, well over 90% say that they continue to do so in 2021. So it is this type of adoption that is really fueling the growth that we anticipate. And again, as you called out, we are seeing a digital decade ahead of us in Southeast Asia, a digital decade for everyone, and a possibility of $1 trillion economy in the digital space by 2030.
Well, with this comes an enormous responsibility, does it not? Because a lot of people are not yet internet savvy. We may have, and of course, you've got different jurisdictions doing different things. Indonesia doing something different to Vietnam or Singapore here. But, you know, are the regulatory frameworks fit for purpose? And what's the challenge facing them with regards to things which are in the interest of gig workers or privacy as well?
Yes, so we have made a lot of progress in terms of enablers since we started measuring the digital economy going back to 2015. But when you look at opportunities that have just been described, $1 trillion digital economy by 2030, we do see more jobs, we see stronger businesses, we see greater access for everyone across the region. But to your point, there are a lot of things that have to happen. And yes, smart regulation is one of them. We believe very much in there being data security. That needs to happen, needs to have some formats in place, but we don't need fragmentation and regulation across the region. It is so important that we have free flow of data, yes, regulated, but it won't work if we have different rules and regulations in each of the countries. So again, a lot of this economy is based on being able to expand. We want to do so inclusively. We want to do so with security top of mind. But yes, it needs smart regulation to enable that.
Stephanie, if you had to choose the next digital powerhouse in Southeast Asia, which country would that be? Would it be Indonesia? Would it be Vietnam?
Well, Indonesia has had a really good story from the get-go. So it makes up, about 40% of the digital economy today, and we expect that to remain the case. So half of the investments coming in are going to Indonesia now as well. So we know that about Indonesia. So let me highlight an incredible opportunity that I see in Vietnam. So Vietnam had slower growth year on year, but that is not the story that should be captured looking forward. That slower growth, and keep in mind it was at 31% year on year, was due to the pandemic hitting Vietnam a bit harder in 2021. But we expect it to be up to 11x between now and 2030. That's very entrepreneurial groups and teams on the ground, developers, tech talent, a strong business economy, and a lot of retail that is still offline. So I'm backing Vietnam to move quite aggressively and become the second largest digital economy in Southeast Asia.
So, of course, Google can ride on this as well, and you guys are going to capitalize on this growth, no doubt. But I want to get a sense of what you think is the next big thing. We've seen health tech, we've seen all these fintech products, and not least payment systems. What's going to be the next one which is going to really drive things in your view?
Yeah, I think all of those things that you just mentioned are incredibly important and will continue to shine in the digital economy. But I think at the center of all of what you just described is the mobile phone. It still is the center of computing. And when we think about Southeast Asia as a mobile first, if not a mobile only region, and we have artificial intelligence that is really taking hold and providing so many opportunities for engagement through voice, through image, and through video, which are preferences in this region. We see that again being the brightest light. So expect to see even more possibilities on our smartphones in the near future.